Embracing the whispers of growth. The spiritual alchemy of rejection. Rejection is an experience as old as humanity itself, an unwelcome guest in the stories of our lives that often arrives without invitation. Yet, within its somber cloak lie hidden gems of profound spiritual significance. So let us start by recognizing that rejection, in its essence, is not merely an end, but a pivotal point in our personal evolution. When we face rejection, it is as if the universe has presented us with a mirror, reflecting back to us not just who we are, but who we have the potential to become. It is easy to view rejection as a closed door, a barrier to what we desire. However, I invite you to see it as a detour sign, redirecting you towards a path that is more aligned with your growth. Consider for a moment the last time you felt rejected. The sting is often immediate, a sharp pang that echoes through your being. But what followed? Did you find within that pain a seed of resilience, a newfound understanding of your inner strength? Rejection has the uncanny ability to strip away the veneer of our perceived self, revealing a raw authenticity beneath. In this first part of our spiritual exploration, let us unravel the layers of rejection to uncover its deeper meanings. It is a transformative force that compels us to examine our values, our expectations, and our attachments. Through rejection, we are given a chance to reassess what truly matters to us. It begs the question, what is it that you hold dear, and are you pursuing it with the purity of intention that it deserves? As we journey through the landscape of rejection, we often find that our own self-worth becomes entangled in the opinions and acceptance of others. This is a delicate dance, one where we must learn to balance the desire for external validation with the unshakable knowledge of our intrinsic value. You are not defined by the acceptance of others, but by the acceptance you grant yourself. Within the context of rejection, there lies a profound opportunity for self-discovery. Have you ever noticed how rejection can sometimes feel like a personal attack, a message that you are not enough? Yet this is far from the truth. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It is a call to action, a prompt to dive deeply into the waters of self-love and emerge with a renewed sense of self-compassion. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons. This journey through rejection is not one we travel alone, although it may feel incredibly isolating at times. We are part of a collective human experience where each of us has faced, or will face, the sting of being turned away. This shared narrative binds us together, offering a wellspring of empathy and understanding from which we can all draw. Let us also consider the role of ego in the face of rejection. Our egos, fragile as they are, can lead us to construct narratives that serve to protect and insulate us from the pain of being rejected. But what if we chose instead to gently set the ego aside and view rejection as a neutral event, devoid of malice or intent? What profound lessons could we learn if we stripped away the personal narrative and saw rejection as a simple mismatch of needs or expectations? Rejection has the power to catalyze change, to ignite a fire within us that propels us towards transformation. It can be the very catalyst that awakens us to new possibilities, to paths less traveled that hold the keys to our true calling. It is a clarion call to reevaluate our course, to ensure that our actions and choices are in harmony with our deepest truths. As we near the end of this first exploration, let us pause to reflect on the nature of attachment. Our suffering in rejection is often directly proportional to our attachment to a specific outcome. What if we could release our grip on the need for a particular result? Imagine the freedom and peace that could flow into our lives if we trusted that what is meant for us will not pass us by. In the next part of our spiritual contemplation, we will delve into the alchemical process that rejection initiates within us, the transformation of leaden sorrow into golden wisdom. The crucible of clarity, distilling wisdom from the flames of rejection. Moving forward, we find ourselves standing before the crucible of clarity, where the heat of rejection serves to refine and purify our understanding. In this alchemical process, we are called to examine the deeper reasons behind our reactions to rejection. What is it within us that feels diminished when faced with rejection? Is it not the perfect opportunity to fortify our sense of self, independent of external affirmation? Rejection, in its raw form, is a teacher like no other. It educates us on the transient nature of life's occurrences, reminding us that nothing is permanent and that our reactions to life's ebbs and flows are choices that define our character. Can you see how your reaction to rejection either anchors you to stagnation or rejection, in its raw form, is a teacher like no other? It educates us on the transient nature of life's occurrences, reminding us that nothing is permanent and that our reactions to life's ebbs and flows are choices that define our character. Can you see how your reaction to rejection either anchors you to stagnation or propels you towards growth? Let's examine the silver lining within the storm cloud of rejection. It often forces us to confront our deepest fears, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of not belonging, or the fear of not being loved. Each rejection brings these fears into the light, and it is in the light where we can address them. You are presented with a choice: to shrink back into the shadows or to stand tall and face these fears head-on. The latter path, while daunting, is where true growth lies. This confrontation with fear is not a solitary battle. We are surrounded by a community, whether we realize it or not, a tapestry of souls who have walked through the fires of rejection and have emerged not unscathed, but stronger and more resilient. There is wisdom to be shared, support to be given, and understanding to be received. You are not alone in this. One of the most powerful aspects of rejection is its ability to redirect our life's trajectory. Think of rejection as a redirection, a guiding nudge towards a destiny that aligns more closely with your highest good. It's not easy to see it in the moment, but with the passage of time, the reasons often become clear. How many times have you looked back on a past rejection only to realize it was a blessing in disguise, a necessary step to where you are now? Rejection also serves as a catalyst for introspection, urging us to peel back the layers of our identity to discover who we truly are beneath the roles we play. It is an invitation to authenticity, beckoning us to live in a way that is true to our essence rather than a performance for the approval of others. When we live authentically, rejection loses its power over us, for we are anchored in the truth of our being. There is a subtle art to receiving rejection with grace. It involves a delicate balance of acknowledging the pain without letting it define us. We must learn to let go of bitterness and to forgive, not necessarily because the source of our rejection deserves it, but because we deserve peace. Forgiveness is the balm that heals the wound of rejection, allowing us to move forward unburdened by resentment. We must also recognize the role of personal responsibility in the face of rejection. It is all too easy to cast ourselves as the victim, to lay the blame entirely at the feet of others. However, there is power in examining our role in the situation, in learning from our missteps, and in using this knowledge to better ourselves. Rejection can be a harsh but fair teacher. and its lessons are invaluable for our personal development. In the quiet aftermath of rejection, there is a space for contemplation, for quiet growth. It is within this space that we can rebuild our confidence, not as a fortress against future rejections, but as a garden that we cultivate with self-care and nurturing. Each act of kindness towards ourselves is a step towards a more resilient and compassionate heart. Now, as we prepare to transition to the next part of our exploration, we carry with us the understanding that rejection is not the end of our story, but a chapter that contributes to the richness of our narrative. In the chapters to come, we will delve into the transformative power of vulnerability and how opening ourselves up in the wake of rejection can lead to unexpected and profound connections. The unseen bonds. Vulnerability as a gateway to connection. As we continue our exploration, we turn our gaze to the transformative power of vulnerability. Rejection strips us bare, leaving us exposed and, seemingly, at our weakest. Yet, in this state of vulnerability, there is an immense strength waiting to be realized. Vulnerability is the birthplace of connection, where authentic relationships are forged and where true healing begins. Vulnerability, however, is not about indiscriminate openness. It is about intentional transparency with ourselves and with others. It requires courage to show up and be seen when we cannot control the outcome. In the face of rejection, do we armor up and build walls, or do we allow ourselves to remain open, to continue to reach out despite the risk of further pain? The journey through vulnerability is not one of reckless exposure, but of discerning trust. It involves carefully selecting those with whom we share our stories, our pain, and our true selves. This process of discernment is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. It is the recognition that not everyone is deserving of our vulnerability, and that is perfectly okay. When we embrace vulnerability, we open up to new depths of connection with others. Shared experiences of rejection can become the glue that binds us together, creating relationships that are rooted in empathy and mutual understanding. These connections often prove to be more genuine and lasting because they are based on the truth of our experiences rather than superficial pretenses. Vulnerability also invites us to dismantle the facade of perfection that we often project to the world. In the aftermath of rejection, we are given the chance to acknowledge our imperfections and to embrace our humanity. This is not a process of self-derogation, but a celebration of our multifaceted nature, which includes our strengths as well as our weaknesses. When we accept ourselves in totality, we set the stage for others to do the same. In the wake of rejection, vulnerability can lead to self-discovery. It is in our most vulnerable moments that we often uncover hidden aspects of ourselves. Perhaps it is a well of inner strength we never knew we had, or a passion that had been buried under the expectations of others. Vulnerability allows us to explore these revelations and to integrate them into our evolving sense of self. Moreover, the act of embracing vulnerability can serve as a model for those around us. In sharing our stories of rejection and how we navigated through them, we give permission to others to do the same. We become beacons of light in a world that often stigmatizes failure and rejection. This shared vulnerability has the power to break down barriers and to create a sense of solidarity and community. There is a paradox in vulnerability that is crucial to understand. In our willingness to face potential rejection, we actually open up more opportunities for acceptance. By showing our true selves, we attract people and circumstances that resonate with our authenticity. Gone is the need for pretense, and what remains is the freedom to be fully and unapologetically ourselves. Yet, even in vulnerability, there must be boundaries. It is important to recognize when to share and when to hold back, to know the difference between vulnerability as a path to connection and oversharing as a misguided plea for validation. This discernment is key to maintaining our integrity and ensuring that our openness serves us rather than depletes us. As we draw this second part to a close, we hold in our hearts the understanding that vulnerability is a choice, a courageous step towards growth and connection. It is a testament to our resilience and a gateway to deeper relationships with ourselves and with others. We now prepare to enter the next phase of our journey, where we will explore the role of self-belief in the face of rejection and how it shapes our destiny. The pillars of self-belief. Constructing a resilient identity amidst rejection. In this next part of our spiritual quest, we anchor ourselves in the concept of self-belief. This is the foundation upon which we can stand firm when the winds of rejection try to topple us. Self-belief does not mean that we are immune to doubt or to the pain of being rejected. Rather, it is the quiet assurance that we possess inherent worth and that our value is not contingent upon external validation. Self-belief is cultivated over time, often through the trials of rejection. Each time we are faced with rejection, we have the opportunity to affirm our worth or to question it. It is in the affirmation, the choice to believe in ourselves despite external circumstances, that our self-belief is fortified. However, self-belief is not simply a matter of positive thinking. It is rooted in self-awareness and the honest evaluation of our strengths and areas for growth. True self-belief is grounded in reality. It acknowledges our limitations while recognizing our potential to overcome and evolve. The cultivation of self-belief also involves the narratives we tell ourselves. In the aftermath of rejection, what stories are you weaving in your mind? Are they tales of inadequacy and failure, or are they epics of perseverance and eventual triumph? The stories we choose to tell ourselves have the power to shape our reality, to build us up or break us down. Self-belief is also inextricably linked to the actions we take. It is one thing to believe in oneself in theory, but quite another to put that belief into practice. When we take action in alignment with our self-belief, we make a powerful statement to the universe about our expectations for ourselves and our lives. In addition to our personal narratives and actions, self-belief is nurtured by the company we keep. Surrounding ourselves with individuals who support and uplift us can reinforce our self-belief, especially in times of rejection. Conversely, distancing ourselves from those who undermine our confidence can be equally important. It's also vital to recognize the fluidity of self-belief. It is not a static state, but a dynamic one that can fluctuate with life's ups and downs. Maintaining self-belief in the face of rejection requires vigilance and the willingness to recommit to ourselves time and again. As we move through life, our self-belief becomes our compass, guiding us through the challenges we encounter. It helps us to discern which rejections are merely obstacles to be navigated and which are signposts redirecting us toward a more aligned path. It is this self-belief that ultimately shapes our destiny, for it informs our choices, fuels our perseverance, and instills in us the resilience to rise above rejection.